Alrighty, welcome back to the Back of the Class podcast. My name is Madiha.
This is Chris Navarrete.
And this is our very, very special Halloween episode for you guys. Do you want to tell them a little bit about what our episode is?
All right, guys. We're going to be debunking scary, spooky stories. We asked a lot of the kids in our school to respond. I think we got a couple good ones. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, so we have some students who submitted paranormal activities that they have encountered, and we're going to read it to you guys, and then we'll just do a little commentary on it, and we're going to be like, okay, does this sound real? Could this, debunk it?
We're going to debunk it.
Yeah, Chris doesn't believe in paranormal activities.
Okay, hold on. I didn't say I didn't believe. I'm just saying, there's got to be a lot of, fake stories out there.
That's true. I do think that there are fake stories out there. Okay, we're going to start. These are all anonymous, by the way. We had been putting posters everywhere around school, and we've got some good stories. We had to look through with them because some of them were just not stories. But anyway, we're going to start with one of them. It's a very long one, but we'll try to see where this takes us. None of us have read these stories before, so we're quite literally listening to them and with you guys. So the first story doesn't have a name or anything. Chris, do you want to just start reading, and then we'll go sentence by sentence or something?
Let's do it. All right. Over the summer, my family and I went to Mexico.
Our family ranch is in a rural area surrounded by mountains and orchards, 2 hours away from the state capital, Morelia.
My family and I spent a day in Morelia walking through the city center when we came across a candy shop.
And I love sweets, but there was a twist to the shop.
It was a company that dates back to the 1800s called Calle Real or Royal Street, with only recipes that date back to centuries ago.
My family and I decided to go, except for my grandma. She refused to step foot inside.
Okay, let's take a little break. So they're in Mexico.
They are in Mexico.
They're what? They said 2 hours away from the state capital. I like this. They're at a candy shop that's really old.
Yeah, and apparently goes back to centuries, and it's very archaic from the sounds of it. And it's a very long story, so I don't know where this is going, but I'm assuming this is where the paranormal activity takes place, in a candy shop in Morelia.
I like the start of this. I hope this is really
It's a
good.
very story-like. I love whoever wrote this. We appreciate you, and thank you for submitting a story.
All right, let's continue.
Alrighty.
Where is it? Okay, as you walk in the front door, there's an old-fashioned register that they actually use, okay? Then as the doorway's passed, the shop opens up.
Okay, there are shelves and tables full of candy products throughout the shop, but there are 2 walk-in rooms on the right side of the wall.
One room is a cake room. The room next to that one is a toy room that had dolls and wooden toys for sale.
Creepy.
Okay.
An archaic store with a room of toys that has dolls and wooden toys and stuff in it.
It's a candy shop, but it also has other stuff too.
I mean, that's already red flag, right? I mean, your Halloween. Okay, anyways, let's continue. That's red flag.
Okay.
I could not bring myself to walk in. It wasn't an option.
Well, towards the back next to the toy room, the wall parallel to the room is covered in old portraits. So creepy. Okay.
I just imagine a wall of.
Well, there's old candy, right? And then she said what, wooden dolls?
Yeah, that's creepy. And then there's really old portraits, and I'm imagining dark black beady eyes or something. Oh my god, that's actually kind of creepy. Okay, I mean, they did say creepy. All right. So they say, whatever, I don't think anything of it. Aside from the shop being a candy store, it was also a museum, and they got the tickets. I think the museum part adds a bit of an extra spook into it. I don't know.
Maybe if they had started with it's a museum. I think there's a lot of random elements here.
Yeah, for sure.
Could be cap. All right. They send us to the back of the store through these doors, and it opens up to a patio. Here, there is a bathroom, seating area, and an old car on display.
And okay, I had to go to the bathroom. Mind you, it was a 2-hour drive back home. That's kind of real. And this was my opportunity to go.
To the bathroom?
Yeah, I think so.
I agree. I thought it was just an opportunity. She has to go. As I'm in line next to enter, I get a strange feeling, almost like I'm being told not to go in. So I decided to wait the 2
That's
hours.
crazy.
What?
That's actually crazy.
What's the transition?
That's actually kind of crazy. No, the fact that you get a feeling and just don't go, that's real, but I don't know. I mean, if I really had to go to the bathroom and there's a 2-hour car ride ahead of me, would I just not go because I feel like I'm being not to go? I don't know. I mean, I think for me it has to be about more than just feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like something
I
creepy.
wonder if this is like, not to assume which gender, but like, if this was a dude, I'm definitely just going to the bathroom. Like,
Oh yeah, huh?
I feel
I
like-
didn't think about that. Yeah, they don't. This is anonymous, like I said before, so we don't know if this is, someone. If this is definitely a Pittman student, but I don't know if this is a girl or a dude. So we don't know that yet. Maybe somewhere in the bottom they'll indicate. I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. That's kind of weird. Okay, so they decided to wait. Apparently, the patio leads you through another set of doors into a tiny parking area that has the company's original cars on display. Across from the cars is a small concrete fountain.
Then we are taken as a group to the very end of the museum where there is a theater room. Have in mind, the way we entered is only an entrance.
Oh, I think that's like an important part to remember, that the way they entered is the only entrance there.
Yeah.
I just imagine like them just getting trapped in there or something.
How did we go from a candy store to like
A museum.
a movie theater?
And then there's movie theater too. Okay, as I walk in this old rundown theater room, I can't help but feel like I'm being watched, accompanied by this heavy feeling.
I ignore it and focus on the video playing, which informs us of the history of the recipes and museum.
Oh, so it could be a tour. That's why. That's
Yeah.
where they're going.
Yeah, that
okay,
makes
that would make
sense.
sense. Okay, the recipes came from nuns in a convent that were initially admitted at ages 10 to 12 and were never allowed to leave. Nuns are creepy because of the fact that I just watched The Nun 1 and 2. So I like where this is going, but I don't see like the paranormal activity in it yet. It's just the feeling that this student is, experiencing so far.
How does becoming a nun work? I thought you have to like. Are they allowed to become nuns at 10 and 12?
I don't know, but this was centuries old, so maybe it was just like a tradition or culture thing back then. Where
Yeah,
you could be.
okay, I can see that. The woman that came in to clean stole the recipes and used them for their own benefit outside of the convent.
Oh, so this is part of the story. Okay.
Okay.
After the video, we were taken to a glass case full of miniature models of the convent, museum, and industrial machines used to make the candy. Then our group is taken to the front industrial machine room, and on our way there we pass an old-fashioned original kitchen.
This is okay. My grandma had one similar to that kitchen, so I just clipped a couple photos and went on with the guide. The kitchen being the last and main event, the guide made sure to share everything, which is when she made a small comment about a woman in black.
Oh, okay.
I think it has to be at the story.
Right. Okay, after her tour, I asked her about it, and this is what she said. Apparently, a woman had owned the building back in the 1800s. 2 men broke into her home, found her, and then raped her, then left her for dead, tied to a chair in the toy room. Mind you, this candy shop is strictly about historic candy recipes, which the tour guide empathized. Or I think they meant to say emphasize, but either way.
So is the tour guide messing with her?
I don't know. This honestly feels okay, but this is in Mexico, so it's like, they have those historical things happening there. They have the museums, and this is centuries old too. So this could be like a backstory. Because I know, like, there's a lot of folklore that comes out of Mexico, like when it comes to Halloween and horror stuff.
Okay, I agree. I just think there's a lot of random elements.
Yeah, there definitely is.
Is it
We should have
just
probably proofread them before. But it's okay.
Yeah, that's true. So the co-workers claim to have seen the woman walk to and from the cars. Okay, she says, remember
in
this.
parentheses, we're supposed to remember this. Okay.
Now
all right.
the restroom, it is one room. It is a one-room woman's bathroom that had the original everything, including the bathtub.
All right. Another woman had been found dead in the bathtub, and they never ruled out her cause of death, whether it was a murder or suicide. That's 2 deaths.
Okay. The tour guide said, let's just finish the story and then we can... Because I feel like there's a lot of elements here, and we're okay.
Yeah. All right. Okay, let's finish.
So the tour guide said that many people came to her saying that there had been someone in there with them, that they would wash their hands, and in the mirror behind them, a figure would appear.
Oh, my God.
It was so severe that a priest had been called out to bless the museum, in which he claimed to have seen a male apparition in the restroom during his prayer.
All right. There had been another visitor that talked to the tour guide about the various spirits throughout the building and warned her about lighting candles because it would warp their energy from positive to negative.
As I'm hearing this, I get chills. It was so creepy.
Oh, God.
Aside from the Candy Shop Museum being haunted, I was told that most of the original buildings in the city center were built from the material carried by local indigenous people back in the day.
She said that those who died on the journey have their spirits attached to the buildings built by their carried material. On my way home, my family and I unraveled this information.
Everyone agreed that there had been some energy in there, but my grandma felt it was most. I thought the grandma didn't go.
Oh, yeah, it says, but my grandma felt it the most and said she could still feel it even though she had never gone inside. So I think that element, the fact that her grandma didn't go is like
she
to
didn't go
emphasize.
inside.
But she still felt it. So it was like very strong.
Okay, I believe that abuelas can be like, they know. That night, I'm on FaceTime showing my boyfriend the kitchen I thought was so cool because it resembled my grandma's. As I zoom, tell me, why is there a figure in the window of the kitchen?
Oh my God, hold on. Oh my God. Okay.
What?
I had taken 2 pictures milliseconds from each other in the same spot. In one picture, you can see the kitchen through a window in front of another window across. The far window has a car displayed on the other side with the seats being made of leather. Tell me why it appears as though a woman in black is sitting covering the leather seat in one picture. Oh my God. Okay.
Okay.
That like deserves a moment of silence because that's so creepy. Oh my God. Okay, Chris, take us to the end.
Okay, sorry.
Oh my God.
We're at. Okay, but in the
Yeah.
photo after that one. Okay, so no one had been back there. Everyone had been taken to the front room. The woman in black was the original owner who was killed and left tied to the chair. Her portrait is hung outside of the toy room. I have photos of the museum, the bathtub, the cars, portraits, and the kitchen where the woman appears.
Oh my God. Okay, last sentence. That night,
Yeah.
no one slept. My grandma said she felt a presence, so we all had to go back and rebuke whatever it was. Okay, that was the first story. Okay, there was a lot of stuff that was just kind of, detail. I appreciate that they went into detail. I appreciate that. But that end part is absolutely terrifying. Or am I the only one? Because you're taking pictures, right? I mean, you're going to this museum. It's really fun. You're taking pictures like a normal person does. And then afterwards, you're looking through those pictures and you zoom in and then you see someone in the reflection. That's creepy. And a woman in black.
Okay, but like, you're at a museum. They could be like anybody, right?
That is true.
And she never specified how the woman in black. She could have been wearing a black hoodie. Not that you would be in Mexico, but she could have been like wearing a black dress. Like, she never. It could have just been like a really dark shadow of someone. It doesn't have to be necessarily someone like walking, and it could have been anybody. So
I mean, okay, yeah, that's right. Actually, if you think about it, when you're like, let's say you're facing a window and you're taking a picture, right, of something, and in the window you see yourself too. But I don't know. Sometimes when I do that, it's like it looks weird. It looks like there's someone behind me, but there actually isn't. It's just me. It's just the window's a little like. It's a little like shifted or something like that, especially when there's a crack in the middle. It looks like there's 2 people when there's actually just one. So it's possible that was the case, but that definitely, okay, like if I were to rate that was pretty scary. Like, you get all this kind of like tedious information. You're like, okay, I see where this is going, like candy room, theater room, museum, but then
Right.
bam, like hindsight, that night I go to my house, I look at it, and then bam, there is someone in the picture. And the fact that this is a real experience. So as far as paranormal activities go, this was pretty scary.
Yeah,
Because
it's pretty solid.
I mean, you don't expect to meet a ghost face to face. Like you're not. But anyway,
so I wish.
what would you rate it? Like if you were to rate it.
Okay, so like out of 5 stars, this is like a 2 out of 5 stars.
Oh, I see. Okay,
Okay.
I give it a solid 4. I don't know, like a 3.5 maybe. I thought the ending was pretty spooky. Okay, I think it was pretty spooky.
I wish we hadn't left it anonymous because she said she had photos.
Oh yeah, if you are this person, please send us pictures.
That would be awesome.
I want to see it. I genuinely want to see it. But that
Right.
was for our first one. We're just
Okay, we apologize if we absolutely like butchered your story.
yeah.
It seemed pretty interesting though.
It was pretty interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll move on to our second story. This is a shorter one. This is again anonymous, so we don't know who it is. But yeah, okay, I'm gonna start reading this one. So it was like nighttime in with my family outside having a cookout, just hanging out with my whole family, and we were all in my grandmother's house. And like a couple minutes later, after eating, my older brother sees a shadow across the road from my grandmother's house, and my older brother goes to see who's standing there. He said there was no one there at all, no one was nearby, or no one was around to cast a shadow. So my brother came back to the house, and a car passes by, and no one was there at all. Eventually, I look over and see it too. I thought it was just that I was just hallucinating, but I wasn't, because my cousins also saw it, and one of them pointed to my grandmother's roof and said it looks like someone is standing there or sitting on the roof. There's no periods in this whole paragraph, so I'm gonna let Chris continue reading because this is all commas.
No, comma splice it. Don't do it to us. All right. I look at the roof as well, and it did look like someone was sitting there, and all the adults told us kids to go inside until they say we can go out. That's when I heard one of my aunts start to throw up. Not sure about what happened, but after the parents told us we can go outside now. And when we did, the shadow figures were gone. Most stuff like this happens to my family, and they all live in Utah in the Four Corners. Okay. That's weird. I have more stories like this, some even scarier that were told to me from adults. But that's what happened one of the nights with my whole family. He says this is a true story. Or he.
Interesting. Not as scary. Definitely 1 out of 5. I'm sorry to whoever wrote this. We are definitely debunking and rating these. A 1 out of 5. I would give it a 0 if I could. It reminds me of that audio from TikTok. Like, it's so bad, I give it a 0 or something, but I can't do that, so I'll give it a 1. That kind.
Hey, good effort.
The thing is, with this one, there's so many ways that this can go. I mean, someone on the roof, like a shadow or something, that literally could have been a person in the roof, right on the roof.
Yeah,
I mean,
easily.
You have the lights, right? You're over here. You have the lights and everything. You're having fun with your picnic or your cookout, like you were saying. But the roof, I mean, you don't have lights up there, obviously, so it's darker out there. So anyone could quite literally have been sitting there, and it would have looked like a ghost. Your aunt throwing up, that. Food poisoning? I don't know.
Okay, so it's a family get together, and I'm not gonna say specifically, but like I know a lot of definitely alcohol consumption at parties, right?
Right.
Just part of like getting together. I won't generalize that, but so your aunt throwing up easily could have been like maybe she drank too much, right?
Easily.
Also food poisoning, right? Usually.
I don't know.
You have other issues with that, but.
Yeah, I mean that was as far as paranormal activities go. I guess we missed the fun, or you missed the fun, whoever you are, because you were told to go inside. Because if you were outside, you probably would have found out who it was. Like, I'm thinking it was probably some drunk, like, person or something, right, sitting up there, and that's why the adults told you guys to go inside so they can deal with it. Maybe. I mean, as far as debunking goes, you know, that's possible. That's entirely possible.
Your party ended early. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, all right. So that's a 1 from me. We're just gonna move on to the next one, and this one's super short. So you wanted to just take the whole thing, Chris?
Yeah, I got that.
All right.
Okay.
I actually know who this one is by, I think. So maybe I'll say at the end who this is by.
Okay. When I was a little kid, I was on vacation to my parents' home country and staying at my grandparents' home. Our country was colonized by Spain for over 300 years, and as such, we got a lot of ghost stories. During this particular trip, I was sitting on the sofas that my grandpa imported the family from Saudi Arabia. When he was still an overseas worker there. And when suddenly the very hot and humid room felt cold.
Ooh.
Little 3-year-old me was jumping up and down, and suddenly I sat down. Then this white lady figure walked past the entire sitting area and then came back and sat on the sofa across from me. I stood up and calmly walked away, then told my family what happened. Thank goodness I'm still alive and not possessed today.
Okay. I know who that's by because it's our third response, and I knew who that person was who submitted it, but I didn't know the story. So the whole white lady figure walked past the entire sitting area, and then I'm like visualizing this kid is sitting on the sofa, and then like a white lady, just like a figure, just appears and just like kind of sits in front of him, and then he just like kind of like gets up and just starts leaving. And this person, you know, he said that he was 3 years old, and and I don't know how real that can be. I'm not gonna like mitigate their.
It could have been like your like long lost aunt. You don't really see your like cousin. You don't see all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing where you see like a shadowy figure somewhere in a photo or on the roof, but there's a whole another thing when it's a white lady figure, just like fearless, just walks right in front of you across, sits on the sofa that you're sitting on, and then you're just like, what do I do now? And then you just get up and leave. You know?
I think his like reaction's very like real though. I feel like as like a 3-year-old, I'm
Yeah.
not like freaking out. I'm just like, yeah.
I mean, like, what are you gonna do, right? Like, hey, love your attire. I mean, what were you gonna do? You can't really talk to this person who you don't even know. I mean,
White lady figure.
Yeah,
it
like, I
literally
think-
could have been anybody.
honestly, but I can see how this could be scary to a 3-year-old, right? But I don't see the paranormal activity in it. Maybe if this person had got into detail, I don't know,
Yeah,
but
explain like what the white lady. Oh,
Yeah.
and then it's hard to remember too.
but you were 3 years old,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So exactly.
This one's actually pretty solid. I rate it
Yeah.
better than.
The second one, at least.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, probably me too. That's like a good
Solid 3, yeah,
There you
3.
go. Okay, so this next one is actually by me. I had to put one in because I actually experienced this back when I was like 7 or 8 years old. This was this is a disclaimer. I can't personally the person who wrote this. I don't remember if this actually happened or not. And this was back when I was in Indonesia, so I don't remember if this happened. This was a while ago. But I remember that we were working on a school project after school. We were there until like after it was, nighttime. So this was like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and the sun has set, and it was dark, and we were all leaving up, but my shoelace was untied. So then I went to tie it, and I put my feet up onto this like little brick area thing right in front of a classroom that the window was open and there was no screen or anything, so you could see across to the hallway. And I put up my feet, I was tying my shoelace, and I look up, right, and I see like a white figure literally walking right across, and it's a room, it's just the door frame, and the other side is a hallway, and just that's it. I get the little 1 second glance of this lady just walking by. And it's not a run, it's not like, any kind of slow, creepy looking at you kind of thing with like a creepy smile, nothing like that. It's just literally not even looking at me, looking straight. The window's right here, I'm over there, lady's walking straight across, just straight, and I'm over here getting this view of this lady just walking. Now, this was Indonesia. This is not a first world protected country kind of place. So it could have been literally a lady just inside the school. But this wasn't a school. This was literally a house that we rented and made a school because we weren't allowed to attend schools in Indonesia. I didn't know this lady. I mean, the entrance was right to over there. Over there was the entrance to the room and everything, and I'm over here. So I don't know, but this is one of those things that I remember so vividly, but it could have been just, me as a kid, I just made something up, and because I told it so many times that I can't remember if this is a lie or if this has actually happened. But
That's so valid.
I actually genuinely can't remember now, but I've been saying this same thing to like my friends and family and stuff for so many times that now my brain thinks it's real. And every time I say it, I actually get like really like tense and uptight, and like I can like visualize it happening. So this is just, it happened to me, and I just put that down there because, well, why not? Why
Do
not?
I get to debunk this?
Yeah, no, go for it. Honestly, as a third person, like I want to hear you say this. Like,
Okay, so like, how old are you when you're attending this? I don't want to like debunk it, but I feel
no, I'd say, well, this was Indonesia. This was like the first 2 years, I'd say. If I came here as a 9-year-old, that would make me like a good, like 7, a good 7.5 maybe.
I can see that.
I mean, this was Indonesia. Again, that's one of those countries where like this kind of folklore and stuff, it happens there. Like people have like talked about it, and I remember that there was talk about this kind of stuff happening as well. But again, yeah, and I'm telling you this right now, you can debunk it if you can come up with.
I'm not gonna debunk it. I think it's like super valid that you're like. I don't know if it was just a lie.
Yeah, no, honestly, I can't remember. So that, yeah, exactly. Okay, well, that was our story for you guys. Our stories for you guys. We appreciate you sticking through it till the end. We did have a couple more remaining. We might make a little short story on those later. We're running just for time. But that is it for our Halloween special episode of Got a Spooky Story. Now, those stories were great. They honestly were, but
Hey, we appreciate you guys listening. We appreciate you guys sending in videos, sending in, your stories.
Yeah.
It really means a lot. I really had fun with this segment.
I like this honestly, and I love that this was, we got to, relate to, or not relate to, we got to debunk their stories. They were pretty good stories. Some of them were like creepy, like, oh my god, especially the first one with the window thing, and this one with the dark, figure. But yeah, no, I like these stories, and I love that we got to interact with our audience. So yeah, that was our episode this time. Thank you for sticking to the end. We will see you in our next episode of
Back of the Class Podcast.
Okay, sad news. The mic stopped working.
Plugged in and everything, it stopped working. We probably upset the ghost, the lady in black from the first story, if that's the case. I don't know. Halloween, spooky, spooky skeleton. Da, 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 da.
Boom.
Boom, he said.